And Ashley, the Senate's report on uh, Russian interference in the 2016 election found that there was no group that was more targeted by disinformation than African Americans. Can you tell us about that and what your organization is doing to try to combat it?
Sure. I mean, this is just a continuation of voter suppression tactics. It's no different than the poll taxes, the literacy tests. I mean, this is the weaponization of digital media in order to continue suppressing the Black and brown vote. What we're seeing, coming out of 2016 and beyond and before, is really the impetus for Win Black Palante. We started this rapid content operation and monitoring system about 8 or 9 months ago in order to really step into the gap where we felt like folks weren't investing in the resources needed to really combat the misinformation and disinformation that we're seeing targeted to Black and Latinx voters. And so what we've done is create a model where we're keeping a pulse on this disinformation. We're looking at the trends, we're working with our research partners, but quite honestly, the secret sauce is our network. We've built a network of over 200 or 300 organizers on the ground across 15 states. And we're working with these groups in order to give them the content that we know that's going to be resonant and it's going to move Black and brown voters and serve as a counter to the misinformation and disinfo that we're seeing in the space.
And what kind of campaigns are you seeing that are targeting Black and Latinx voters? What are the phony narratives and what are your counter narratives?
Sure. I mean, we're seeing everything from, we have this democratic plantation narrative that we saw bubbling up over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we are also seeing operatives that are posing as Black activists that are using cultural language that is relevant to the Black and Latinx communities and building these communities and groups on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, but ultimately trying to depress the vote. They're trying to depress Black and brown voters and make folks feel as though we're not wanted in this democracy. And so, beyond just the Democratic plantation, we're also seeing the Black Lives Matter movement being thrown against Black and Latinx, but also the divisiveness. What we see is these bad actors knowing that when Black and Latinx voters show up together at the polls, we show up stronger and things change. And so what they're trying to do is draw this line of demarcation. They're using the Black Lives Matter movement and uprising and flipping this narrative as if Latinx communities aren't welcome to march in the streets with us. They're using these narratives as if the Black Lives Matter movement is somehow against family separation. We're seeing a lot of conservative and right-wing voices in the space really just completely distorting the actual purpose of the movement, but using that to divide our two communities from really participating in this democracy together.